Joining us now is Levar Stoney, Democrat candidate, although it is a nonpartisan race for mayor of Richmond in November. Levar, good to have you with us.
Good morning. How you doing?
I've never been better, Levar.
Where is your purple?
Purple
in honor
Rain.
of Prince.
Well,
You
we
see?
didn't play the song, though. Well, I didn't pack any purple because I didn't think anything would happen
That's
to
true.
my favorite
Sad.
artist. So I
Sad.
packed no purple. Very sad, only 57.
Only 57. It's
Yeah.
sad.
So, Levar, give me kind of a bird's eye view here. You're running for mayor of Richmond. Let's start big picture. What's your vision?
Well, I'm running for mayor of Richmond, John, because Richmond is on the rise, and we find ourselves at a crossroads, and I believe we can't afford more of the same over at City Hall. It's time for a new dynamic leader, someone who is going to bring new ideas, a new vision, and some new energy to the office of the city government, to the office of mayor. And I think I'm that guy. I'm different from a lot of folks. I'm the first in my family to graduate from high school and go to college. I understand that education, number one, is not going to be my priority. I understand that you need that ladder to opportunity. You need that foundation for success. And I want to be a mayor who's going to provide that opportunity to many who live in the city of Richmond.
So, running for mayor of Richmond, obviously you've been in politics a very long time. You've been the operative side. You would be called a Democratic political operative by some. That's what your career has been. But why not choose a legislative path, like state senator, delegate, something like that? Why take on an executive responsibility?
I have had a career in public service. I moved here to Richmond right after graduation, was an intern in Mark Warner's office. And then after that, 10 years later, I became Secretary of the Commonwealth. At that job as Secretary of the Commonwealth, I had an opportunity to actually touch a lot of people's lives. We've restored the rights of more than 18,000 people. And that, to me, has been the driving force on why one would want to get involved in public service. And this has been, those years with Governor McAuliffe were the most rewarding years of my life. And I saw the impact we could make from that role as the Secretary of the Commonwealth inside government. And I think I can do the same thing as the mayor of the city of Richmond. And I plan on doing the same thing. And that's why, when I am mayor, my first 100 days, I'm going to call for a comprehensive performance review and audit of the city departments all the departments across City Hall, just to see where we can find some efficiencies and where we can find the high performers and who are the low performers. And I think that's going to be key to managing a government that's right now a little bit dysfunctional.
So, Levar, it sounds like the genesis for your campaign for mayor of Richmond is emanating out of a passion for the city.
That's correct. This is my home. This is where I built my career. This is where I plan on spending the rest of my life. And I believe there are a lot of people who live in the city of Richmond who deserve an opportunity. And Richmond has been that opportunity for me. As I said, I came to Richmond as an intern, and 10 years later, I was sworn in as the first African-American Secretary of the Commonwealth. That's a story in itself, and I think every person who lives in Richmond deserves that similar opportunity.
Levar, some of your critics are saying that one of your biggest weaknesses here in running for mayor of Richmond is that you have no executive experience. You've got a big government to run, a lot of bureaucrats, a big budget, and you've not really had that kind of executive experience that apparently some of the other candidates are going to be saying that they have. How do you respond to that?
Well, first I will begin by saying, government is more than a corporation. It's not a corporation, actually. Government's about people. And as I'm going to be a hands-on, visible, transparent leader, someone who is going to be the chief collaborator, working with city council, working with the school board, working across city departments, but also working with the business community. I want to get the most out of those who are working in City Hall. Just like the staff I had over the Secretary of Commonwealth's office, I was able to motivate a team to actually restore the rights of more than 18,000 people. Those are just more than numbers. Those are people's lives. Now they have an opportunity to participate in society again. And I think I can bring that same sort of leadership to city government.
Levar, some of your critics say that you have a history of being very partisan, obviously, in some of the positions that you've had. And you don't like Republicans, obviously, because you've been running against them for so long. As mayor of Richmond, You would have to change that because you have to embrace everybody. It is a nonpartisan position, and you've got to work with everybody in the city. How do you see yourself making that transition?
The transition would be easy for me. This campaign will be about people. No matter if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent, black, white, Latino, this campaign will be about people. And I think you will find in the course of this campaign before November that there'll be a lot of people who consider themselves Republican or independent or even Democrat involved in this campaign. At the end of the day, this is about the future of Richmond. We are at a serious crossroads right now. Elections are about choices, and people will have a choice between more of the same or something new, a new, fresh vision for the city of Richmond. And I think folks are going to choose new over same old, same old.
Obviously, you have an agenda. What are the top maybe 2-3 things that you think are the matter in Richmond that you specifically want to address?
Well, number one, schools. Schools will be my number one priority, as I believe that money in the schools is money in our pockets. It's just not about economics, though. It's about doing the right thing. It's the social justice issue of our time here in the city of Richmond. And so as the first person in my family to graduate from high school, this will be at the top of the agenda. I know what it takes to actually ensure that people get that opportunity to rise up the ladder to success. And I think schools has to be at the forefront. Crime is going to be on my agenda as well. We've made great strides, serious strides in public safety, but we have to be vigilant against gun crimes and drug crimes around our neighborhoods. Every neighborhood needs to be a safe haven for people to raise their families and send their kids to school. Number 3, like I said, a hands-on, visible, transparent leader, someone who's going to bring a new, fresh approach to city government. That means collaboration and also being the chief person for accountability. The buck will stop with me. We're going to also measure inputs and outputs, and that's why I've called for a comprehensive 100-day performance review and audit, and we're going to execute on all those priorities in my first term. I guarantee you that.
You're on the John Fredericks Show across Virginia. We're with Levar Stoney. He just resigned as the Secretary of the Commonwealth, and he has just announced his campaign for Mayor of Richmond. That election will be held in November of 2016 in Richmond. It'll be on the ballot with the presidential contest and Congress and everything else. Levar, let's get to this idea that you have for doing an audit of every department in 100 days, which I think is a great idea. Mm-hmm. So you do an audit, you get the results back. Some of the results you get back, they're not going to be pretty. You have to deal with an entrenched bureaucracy that basically has institutional knowledge that does whatever they want. And you're going to be up against all sorts of lobbyists and other political forces that don't want change because many of them are profiting off it. Mm-hmm. How are you going to go in there and actually rip it open?
Well,
because I think that's what your objective is.
Well, I have had firsthand experience working alongside the governor for the last 2 years plus, and I've seen a government firing on all cylinders. And I think the people of Richmond want city government also firing on all cylinders. In order to do that, though, I think you actually have to bring a fresh approach to City Hall, and you got to put some new eyes on the situation, not the same old political status quo that we've been seeing for years and years and years. As I said earlier, the people of Richmond will have a choice between some new set of eyes or the same old eyes that have been on the problem for the last I don't know how many years. And I think that there is a dynamic in Richmond right now where people want to take us to the next level, but we're not going to do that with the status quo. And you have to do some things that are outside the box. Mm-hmm. What I've learned from my mentor, Governor Terry McAuliffe, is you can't do things because it's something we've been doing for the last 10, 20 years. You got to bring a fresh approach to city government, and that's what I did when I was in Secretary of the Commonwealth's office. And if we continue to do things the way that were done, 10 years, 20 years ago, then we've never have restored those rights to 18,000 people. Never would have enhanced our operation over the Secretary of the Commonwealth's office.
Levar, is there a particular mayor of Richmond or an mayoral administration that you would tend to emulate?
Well, I think there are obviously good and bad about, the prior administrations, but this is not going to be about the administrations of the past. This is going to be about the future. And I think the city of Richmond, my neighbors who live in the city of Richmond, they want something new, something fresh. They're ready for change. And I'm going to provide a fresh approach, some fresh ideas, and a new vision for the city. And I think that's what people want. I can easily sit here and look in the rearview mirror all day long, but I plan to look right through the windshield, move forward, and take the city to the next level. People in Richmond are ready for the new chapter. That's what they want.
So let's take the current administration now. What are immediate changes that you would seek to make that are being done right now that you look at it and say, you know what, if I was there, I'd be doing something else? What are they?
Well, as I said earlier, schools are at the top of everyone's mind in Richmond. And it's so personal to me because if it wasn't for that diploma, if it wasn't for my college education, I wouldn't be here talking to John Fredericks right now. And to see, I was at Mount Olivet Church the other day for the Armstrong High community meeting. And I remember a person standing up and saying, why can't you all just work together? There was the school board there, there were city council people there, like, why can't you all work together? And to me, that was the epitome of political theater, right? Scaring people that we're going to close down schools if we don't get the dollars necessary to run the operation. And I thought, these are people's lives right here we're dealing with. We're not, but beyond the numbers, these are people's lives. They're worried about their children, whether they're going to graduate from high school or they're going to graduate from high school from the same place they were, where they started high school. And before we ever get to a packed room of 600 people, we should be handling these things, having all people around the table at the mayor's office, city council, school board, figuring out how do we fix this. Instead, it's being played out for everyone, and it's basic demagoguery. And we should move beyond the politics of fear and division to a politics of unity in the city. And for unity, that means we need to work together. That's what people want. That's why folks are so, I think, disgusted and disenchanted with the body politic today, whether it is at the local level or at the state level or at the federal level. People aren't working together. With this campaign, with this administration, you're going to get someone who's going to work together and be a collaborator. That's the only thing, that's the only way you get things done in this city. That's how you only get things done in this region, by working together.
Levar, let's get to dealing with the city council in Richmond. There's a lot of conflict there, as you know. How would a Levar Stoney come in, and obviously you're going to have allies and detractors. You have that no matter what happens. How are you going to get city council in Richmond to be able to embrace your agenda?
Well, first, it begins with, simple communication, right? And there's always going to be an open door policy in a Stoney administration. I'm going to talk to all 9, no matter if they're going to be with me or not with me. They deserve, number one, that respect, but number 2, they deserve that link to their mayor as well. I'm going to be a collaborator. At the end of the day, as I said, the main ingredient to getting things done in Richmond means you have to actually work with people, work with all 9 of them. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Here's the thing, the city council actually does great things for their constituents, but we need to do great things for the city of Richmond as well as a whole. This is not about 9 different agendas. This is about one agenda, the one agenda being the people of Richmond, the entire city of Richmond. And that's going to be my focus as mayor. We're going to do great things in Riva Trammell's district. We're going to do great things in Cynthia Newbill's district in the 7th, but we're also going to do great things for the city. And I think at the end of the day, you have to start with giving the city council folks credit for where credit's due. And I think sometimes that's what's missing in the discussion in City Hall.
I've got time for one more question, Levar. The police chief in Richmond serves at the pleasure of city council and the mayor. Do you see yourself making any changes in the way the police operate in Richmond, their culture, or anything else? Or are you kind of pleased with how things are moving along? Because at the end of the day, you're their boss.
Yep. And I believe the Richmond Police Department has been excellent, and I believe it's one of the best police departments in the Commonwealth. And Chief Durham has been excellent as well. I mean, they have a great culture of community policing, but just top to bottom, all the real-time efforts they've been putting in, whether it's in the community or just how the operation is run, you have to say it's been top-notch. And so when changes are necessary, you obviously the buck will stop with the mayor's office, stop with me. But I don't see that's necessary change in Richmond Police Department. I think Chief Durham has done an excellent job, and I hope that we can partner together to keep Richmond even safer.
All right, we're out of time. We want to thank Levar Stoney for being with us. Levar Stoney just resigned his position as Secretary of the Commonwealth, and he is running for Mayor of Richmond. Levar, you just launched your campaign. If people want more information or they want to get in touch, where do they go?
They go to www.stoney.com.
Stoney4FORRVA.com. So far, two people in that race, Levar Stoney and former House of Delegates member Joe Morrissey. We expect, though, a host more candidates to jump in. The water's fine. By the way, the election is by plurality, not majority. So if there's 8 people in, 17% wins. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network.